long ago. It takes place during the time when kings and queens ruled over small countries all over the world. If the king and the queen wanted something done, they asked their royal subjects. And the royal subjects were very, very eager to please the king and the queen. The king and the queen lived in a great stone castle. They were protected day and night by the king's guard. The king's guard were considered very important and special people in the kingdom. They wore beautiful red tunics, very tall hats with feathers. No wonder that all of the children wanted to be one of the king's guards when they grew up. And now, the story of the royal Potwasher.
His mother said it was because he was growing so fast. His name was Alexander. Each day, Alexander walked by the palace gates on his way to school. He always stopped and watched the royal palace guards. Alexander wished with all his heart that he could be a guard in the king's palace. The guards were dressed in elegant uniforms. Each guard carried a brightly polished sword. Each wore a red starched tunic and a tall black hat with a long green feather that went back and forth in the breeze.
I want to be a king's guard more than anything else in the world.
At last came the day for Alexander to finish school. He was old enough to provide work. He headed straight for the king's palace. At the palace, he went to speak to the sergeant of the guards. But the sergeant laughed when he saw a tall, gangly, thin, and bony Alexander.
I would like to be a guard for the king. A guard for King Jeremy must be someone special. You seem quite ordinary. You belong in the king's kitchen.
And that's where Alexander was sent. In the palace, there are many kitchens. In each kitchen, different kinds of food were prepared.
There are many different pots to cook the food. The smallest kitchen far off in the back will work all day washing these pots. One day I will be someone special.
But each day was the same. He washed, he scrubbed, he scraped, and he polished. every single royal pot in the entire royal palace. One day, King Jeremy, along with his queen Josephine, called all his subjects before him, including the cooks and the potwasher.
We have decided to have a royal feast, and everyone in the kingdom is invited.
Now this announcement upset the people of the court. If everyone in the kingdom came, this would be the greatest feast ever held.
How will the royal kitchen feed them all? This sounds like an impossible task. I am a wise king. Cooks gather around. Everyone in the kitchen will be in charge of a special dish for the feast. Even Alexander? Of course. Here is a list of foods to prepare. On the list is each cook's name. Beside each name is a special dish to prepare. I am to prepare the main dish, the succulent roast pig. I'm in charge of vegetables. I'm in charge of breads and rolls. I'm to serve drinks. I'm to make tarts and pies and decorate fancy cakes. Here's the list, Alexander. Do you suppose the king has asked him to roast the royal pig? No, Alexander is going to make the royal cakes and tarts. Alexander tried not to listen. But when he read his name, he was very disappointed. He was to make a side dish of macaroni. Imagine a royal feast, and poor Alexander was to cook macaroni, and it was a side dish at that. Alexander could not help feeling bad. When the other cooks saw his long face, they laughed louder and longer than before. This made Alexander run off to hide in the back kitchen where the head chef was to cook his succulent roast pig. The next day, royal invitations were delivered to everyone in the kingdom. Since it was an invitation from the king to a royal feast, everyone was glad to come. The king and queen have invited the entire kingdom to a royal feast. Hurrah! I reckon delicious food for the feast. I hope they serve succulent roast pig. I hope they serve delicious cakes and pastries. I hope they serve bread and rolls. Alexander went to the royal counting house. Can I help you? I need to find out how many people there are in the kingdom. These books will tell you the number of boys, girls, mothers, fathers, cousins, uncles, aunts, nieces, and nephews who are in the kingdom. There certainly will be a lot of people to feed. At the royal storeroom, Alexander put in his order for the macaroni. The storeroom keeper was greatly surprised. Alexander, are you sure you want 50 sacks of macaroni? Yes, there are lots of people, and they're all coming to the feast. The storeroom keeper loaded Alexander's cart with 50 sacks of macaroni. Indeed, the pile almost reached the ceiling. Alexander pushed his cart to the royal kitchen, where the head chef was carefully roasting a succulent roast pig.
royal kitchens.
I laughed so hard I almost slipped on a potato peel. I almost fell in the soup kettle. We have never seen such a tall pile of macaroni before.
But Alexander paid no attention to them. He pushed his cart until he reached the back kitchen.
This is the biggest and tastiest dish of macaroni that anyone has ever eaten. In fact, it will be fit for the king and queen.
Alexander began to prepare his macaroni. He cried as he peeled onions. He sneezed as he sprinkled pepper. He opened all the sacks of macaroni.
I must look pretty hot.
Alexander could not find a pot large enough to hold all the macaroni. He went to the royal kitchen where the other cooks were hard at work on the feast. And each cook prepared his dish. He was sure that his would be the best. It was known that when the king was particularly pleased with the dish, he would often reward the cook. The other cooks in the kitchens thought it was very funny that there was no pot for the king's macaroni. They didn't help Alexander one bit. So Alexander went into the town to try to find a pot. He stopped a peddler who rode a donkey. The donkey rode urns, kettles, pots, vases, pans, boilers, jugs, skeleton tubs.
I need a pot to cook my macaroni.
Take your pick. I have many different kinds of pots.
None are large enough.
In the royal kitchen, the other cooks were busy cooking, and Alexander's macaroni lay on the table untouched. When the cooks saw that Alexander wasn't cooking, they said he would end up in the king's prison.
You'll have plenty of time to think in the dungeon.
That night, when all the cooks and everyone in the palace and court and kingdom were in bed, one person was not sleeping. Alexander was awake. Alexander had an idea. He lit a candle and took his cart. He tickled around the palace to take what he needed. All night long he worked. When the sun began to peep into the windows of the tiny back kitchen, Alexander was still working. Clouds of steam and tasty smelling aromas poured from under the door and through the window. Finally, the time of the feast was near. All the people in the kingdom arrived at the royal palace. There were more people than anyone had imagined.
Something smells delicious. I can't wait for the feast.
served her succulent roast pig.
There is not enough roast pig to go around. I'm in out of stuffing. I didn't know cook enough vegetables.
There was not enough food to go around.
Alexander, bring in your macaroni.
The rear door of the great brown dining room opened. Alexander entered pushing his cart. On the cart was the royal blue bathtub.
Goodness gracious, what is my bathtub doing here? Right here, go look at that royal bathtub. Your Majesty, there's macaroni in your bathtub.
The king seemed very angry. Poor Alexander pushed his cart until the steaming bathtub was under the king's nose. When the king saw his bathtub brimming with tomatoes, onions, and piles of piles of macaroni, he had a change of heart. He smiled.
My dear Alexander, you may begin serving.
God, the cooks of the royal kitchens could not believe their eyes. Everyone in the kingdom lined up to receive a dish of Alexander's macaroni. And there was enough for all. In fact, many people, especially the king, kept coming back for more.
This is the most delicious macaroni I have ever had. May I have some more, please? When the feast was over, the king was given his royal blue bathtub, all freshly cleaned and polished. Alexander was granted one wish. The king now has his bathroom guarded by royal guards day and night, and the royal guard in charge of bathtubs is...